Hey everybody, Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome back to the latest Is It Worth It game series where I review the different games that I play. Some are new, some are old, some are really old. This week I'm talking about Bard's Tale 4, which honestly I should have played when it first came out. I don't know why I didn't. Probably busy with other stuff and just wasn't in that position to have lots of free time at the time. But it is on, or was recently on, Xbox Game Pass, so I decided, what the hell, I'm gonna give this a shot. And I downloaded and I played it, and I really liked it. There are some caveats we're gonna dive into today in this video. Before we get going, if this is your first time here, cool. Hopefully you like this video, and if you do, by the time you get to the end, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you get more updates like this. Now, there is a lot of different stuff going on here on this YouTube channel. I don't just do video games. I do reviews of shows. I do reviews of books. I talk about things like the Rings of Power television show that's coming up. We talk about the Wheel of Time. Do lots of different things. I play Lord of the Rings online with my gaming community. I stream here with them and my wife. Lots of things. It is a variety channel. Check all the other stuff out. And don't forget to join our Discord if you want to hang out with us there, join our gaming community, and all that good stuff. All the links are around here for you to discover at your leisure. And there's also, of course, the playlist, Is It Worth It? Where you can look at the other games that I have played over the years. So, if you know me, I am a huge fan of role playing games, especially games that have good voice acting and good writing. This game, in my mind, has some of the best writing and some of the best voice acting that I have played in a game in a very long time. Also, some of the best music, which I guess is par for the course given that it's called A Bard's Tale and it's all about sort of the Adventurers Guild and having bards in your party and so on and so forth. Now, these games originally started off in the 80s, and full disclosure, I never played the original games. I was too busy with point and click adventure games like Quest for Glory, King's Quest, and etc. I never got into Bard's Tale back in the day, but I do remember seeing the boxes and seeing those games. For whatever reason, I never just got the chance to dive into them. So I can't compare this to previous entries because I didn't play those previous entries. That being said, I dove into this one. This game came out in 2019 from inXile, who has since been bought by Microsoft in one of their, in my opinion, very strategic purchases, along with Obsidian Entertainment and beyond. Um, there's a lot to like about this game. It starts off very, very smoothly. It gets you right into the adventure. You have the option from the get-go to play a pre-generated character, or you can choose to play one of your own. Now, I'm a big fan of doing my own thing, and I'll admit the first time I played this game, I started a rogue, realized that you get a rogue, and some other stuff happened. I'm not going to spoil the story for anybody. I eventually re-rolled and started a fighter character for my own to go through, but there's lots of different ways. You can have up to 6 people in your party. Now, this is where things might get a little tricky for some people. This is not a top-down isometric game like, say, Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale, Pose of Eternity, all of those games, which I love and I've played a lot of here on the channel. I've done my Baldur's Gate 3 reviews and everything else. This is a turn-based game, and they do it in a very unique way because you're playing the game as you're in story mode and exploring zones and everything else. It's all first person. And it's very interesting in the fact that you have your party members with you and they could be having conversations with you, but you don't actually see those party members at any given time. When you go into a combat scenario, it goes into the grid pattern where you've got your party members on this side represented by 2D avatars, and on the other side of the screen, you've got the other party, the bad guys, and they actually show up as 3D avatars. Now you've got space for your party and space for their party, and everything from there is just turn-based. There's no actual moving around the map per se, like if you were playing, I don't know, Fallout, like old Fallout, or even say, what is it, the new Wasteland, the most recent Wasteland game. It's not that type of turn-based where you're moving around a map. It's just turn-based in the sense that it's your characters take a turn, then their characters take a turn, and that's it. And it's all the combat takes place on this one screen. There is a limitation to that in the sense that you only have six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6 or 8 grids that you can move between. Um, I'm recording this video and realizing that I don't actually know because I'm not looking at the screen at it, but you do have the grids that your characters can move around. And there is some movement that can be done because you have certain abilities that will move a character to the back row or the front row and vice versa. So there is some strategy involved in doing the combat scenario. Um, Now, where the game begins to lose me a little bit, and this is where I come into, as much as I love the music and the writing and the voice acting, and the game is beautiful and first person is very smooth, and it's obviously an indie game. You know, they didn't have a huge budget, so there's some things like, for example, the lack of 3D avatars for your character members. You're only represented by 2D avatars, whereas the enemies all get 3D. That's obviously a budget constraint thing. Um, but all that being said, it is a great game, but there are some things that take me out. One of which is, of course, the limitation in that combat system. It does get extremely repetitive after the first 12 or so fights. Like once you've got your party assembled and you kind of know what all their abilities are, even though you can unlock additional abilities, it's still going to be the same combat scenario repeated over and over and over and over and over because you're always restricted to this very small map where it's just your grid, their grid, and back and forth. So looking at a game like Wasteland where you have the big map and you're moving all over the map and taking cover and doing strategic things, you don't have any of that here. So that can get a little repetitive. The other thing that began to take me out of the game after about 15 hours of gameplay was the puzzles. There are too many freaking puzzles. They were fun for the first, you know, 10 or 12 puzzles I came across, but by the point you start getting where the missions or the levels are just like 50 puzzles with 5 encounters before you can even get to a next storyline sequence. Um, that might be a slight exaggeration on 50 puzzles, but lots of puzzles, lots of encounters for it. It just took me out of it. And I eventually got to the point where thankfully there is a mode in the game where you can literally turn off the puzzles and you get a song that you can sing, which unlocks the door magically so that you don't have to deal with the puzzle to get past all these things. Because that did start taking me out of it after all the repetitiveness. But overall, if I had to give this game, I know this is an older game. It's not something that's recent and new or anything like that. So it's not something that people are going to be rushing out to buy. But if you have Xbox Game Pass, it's on the Game Pass right now. I don't know if it's also available for PC, but I got it with the Xbox. Um, it is fun. If I had to give it a 1 out of 10, I'd give it like an 8, a solid 8. Like it's damn good fun. Especially, once I just turned off the puzzles and put it on easy mode so that the combat was just quick, and then I was progressing in the storyline at a much more, rapid pace. I started having a lot more fun, but I did play the first 10 or 15 hours on normal mode with all the puzzles turned on before I just turned puzzles off and went into easy mode and just I want the story at this point. And it is a good story and it's a lot of fun. It's a really good game. I would highly recommend you check it out. Um, do so at your leisure. If you don't have the Game Pass, I'm pretty sure you can pick it up at like GOG, Steam, all those other places. I'll put some links down below in the description text. Now that we've gotten to the end, if you like this review, excuse me, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get updates for future content like this delivered directly to you. And don't forget you can join our Discord, links are down below. And if you want to know more about the world of the Weave and the Void, which is this map behind me that I'm building with my wife and my brother, you can check us out over at our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/wandering hermits. We're building a 5th edition tabletop world and setting. Those books are due out in Q2 of 2022. We also have a point and click adventure game. You can download the free demo now. And there's also a series of books with chapters published twice a month over at Patreon, kind of like Dragonlance if you like that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll see you over there as well. Till the next review, stay safe, everybody. Stay healthy. See you next time.